Hello dear students, welcome back. This 2 marks question is from GATE 2015 exam. You need to find the output of this program. So let us analyze this program. You can see in this line we are including a header file. In these 3 lines we are declaring functions beforehand only so that you don't get any error when this line is being compiled. Okay, when this line is being compiled, compiler will be informed beforehand only that you might see something which is named f1, which is a function that is going to return an integer. Okay, so if you don't write these 3 lines, you will get an error here. The other solution to solve this error is simply replace these 3 lines by these 3 lines. That means instead of just declaring these functions here, just define them here only. Okay, anyways, I have just explained it many times. Let us focus on the actual solution of this question. After this, we have declared a global variable that is named x and its value is 10. So global variables, they will be declared in data section. Suppose this is the data section. So in this part, you have declared a variable called x. I am writing g here just to signify that x is a global variable. Okay, now have a look. Execution will start from the main function. Main function will be automatically called and its activation record will be pushed onto the stack. Now let us begin it from the first line. First line says int x is equal to 1. Now you have defined a variable inside the main function. That means this x is a local variable. Hence, it will get memory inside activation record. Okay. So in activation record of main, this variable is declared. In next line, we are trying to update the value of x. So this one is a complex expression. Let me just write it. So this expression says x is equal to x plus f1 plus f2 plus f3 plus f2. Okay. Now, what are we doing in this line? We want to assign this value to this variable. So first of all, let us solve the RHS. So start from here. Keep on evaluating these expressions one by one. So what is x? X is 1. So this evaluates to 1. Now what is this? This is a function call. That means in this line, a function is being called. So what has to be done? A activation record for new function will be pushed. Okay, this is activation record for this function. Whenever this function returns, we will take that value and write it here and we will just continue with this line only. That means then we will evaluate what is f2. Okay, so first let us focus on f1. We have called this function f1. Its activation record is pushed. Now start executing f1 from line number 1. Line number 1 in f1 is x is equal to 25. Then next line is x plus plus. That means it becomes 26. Then next line is return x. That means this function, it is going to return 26 to this one. In this function, where is this value to be used? That means what is to be done with this 26? This 26 can be written here. Okay, so this evaluated to 26. See, we were executing this line, its value is 1 and right now we have seen its value is 26. This function was called and it evaluated to 26 and now it has returned. Because this function has returned, delete its activation record. Okay. Now let us continue with this line only. Next thing is a function called to function named f2. So we are calling a function, that means its activation record will be pushed onto the stack. So a new activation record for f2 is pushed. Now you have to go to this f2, that means here, and you have to execute this entire line. After executing this entire line, you will come back to this function only and you have to continue from here. So I am marking it with this arrow. Okay, so we have to continue from here when this function call returns. So let us see what will this return. This function is called and you have to start executing this one. Okay, so f2 says static int x is equal to 50. This function has been called for the first time now. That means static integer will be declared. Okay, so in the data section, declare the static variable x that is of integer type and it has initial value of 50. Now let us just note that this x belongs to function named f2. Okay. So this x belongs to function f2. So I've just written f2 and g here so that we don't get confused between both of these variables. Their name is same, so you might get confused. Anyways, static variables will not be deleted even after the function has ended. We will maintain its value throughout the entire program. Okay, if this function f2 gets called again, that same value will be used. We will not delete it. Okay, anyways, now we have executed this line. Next line says x plus plus. There is no local variable inside this activation record which is x. Then you have to look in the data section. In data section, you can find two variables that are named x. So which variable has to be incremented? This one or this one? Always remember, if in data section you can find a static variable that belongs to this function, preference will be given to that variable only. Hence, this one has to be incremented. Okay, like this. So x now becomes 51. Then you are trying to return x. Can you find any x here? No. Look in the data section. Can you find any x here? Yes. We can find one x here and one x here. But preference will be given to this one because this x is a static variable of function f2 and we are currently in f2. So that means we want to return this value 51. So this returns 51 to the calling function. That means now this activation record, it will be deleted. Okay. 51 is returned to the original function. What has to be done with this 51? It will be used here. Okay, so this function call, it returned 51. And I've already told you, whenever this function returns something, we have to continue from here. Okay, so next thing that we are going to do is we are going to call this function and we are going to wait and see what is this function call returning. Okay, so call another function that is named f3 and see what is this f3 returning. So this is f3. Now we have to start executing from first line of f3. Okay, and whenever f3 is completely executed and when f3 returns, then we have to continue from here. Okay, this function will continue from here after this one has returned. Okay, for now let us focus on f3. So first line in f3 says x star is equal to 10. That means x is equal to x star 10. But the thing is, which variable is this x? First look in activation record. Can you find any x? No. Because you cannot find any x here, look in the data section. See, you cannot find any declaration of x in this block. So come outside. That means look in the global scope. You can find x. So obviously we are talking about this x. Here also you can see, if you cannot find any variable named x in activation record, come outside of this activation record. That means look in data section. So you can find two variables named x. This one is only accessible by f2, but we are currently in f3. So this one cannot be accessed by function 3. So obviously this variable will be selected. Okay, so we are talking about that x. Its value is how much? 10. You can see x is 10. So this evaluates to 10. 10 into 10 has to be assigned back to x only. That means that variable is updated to a value 100 like this. Okay, then return x. That means 100 is returned. So 100 is used in place of this. Now you have returned a value. This function will begin its, rather it will continue its execution from here only. Next call is for function f2. Now a new function f2 is called and its activation record is pushed. This is activation record for function named f2. You can see first line in f2 is static int x is equal to 50. But already the static variable is declared. Okay, yeah, this one. That means this line from here to here, it will be skipped. Whatever was the previous value of x, that will only be used. Okay, so for second, third, fourth, fifth and all the subsequent calls to any function, in those cases static variables will not be declared or initialized for the second time. Okay, we'll use the previous value only. So start execution from this line. This is skipped. X plus plus means this one now becomes 52 like this. See, you are in F2. You are trying to execute x plus plus. You cannot find any x here. So you will look here and preference will be given to x which belongs to this function only. Okay. So it becomes 52 from 51. Then return x. That means that value 52 is returned. Okay. Now you can see this line has completely been executed. This function call will end. Hence this activation record will be popped and you will come back to the main function only. In main function, you can see all of the values, they are evaluated. Now you just simply need to add these numbers and then this has to be assigned to the left hand side of the expression. So you can see 50 plus 50 is 100 plus 100 is 200 and this 3 means 203. So this part is 203. Okay. Then plus 1 is 204 and plus 26. So this will be 0132. So answer is 230. That means RHS evaluated to 230. So we want to assign 230 to a variable called x. And currently we are in main function. Okay, we are here. That means find any variable named x inside activation record of main and assign it a value 230. So this one becomes 230. See, this line is this one only. This line is written inside main function. So if you want to find x, first look in activation record of main. Okay. Then if you can find any variable, update it to 230. Then you have written printf %dx. This line is also present in main function only. So look in activation record of main and see if there is any variable called x. If there is one, just print it. So this one will be printed. That means you are going to print 230. Okay. What is the output of this entire code? The output is 230 because main function prints this number and then main function is going to return. That means entire program will end. Okay.